This is the Good Neighbor Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Sean Preston.
Welcome to today's episode of the Good Neighbor Podcast. Today we have a good neighbor with us. It is Guy, the real estate guy from Team Gagnon. How's it going, Guy?
Great. Yeah. Thanks for having me. How are you, Sean?
Doing pretty good. Good start to the start of the week. I got some balloons over on the weekend and, just a nice surprise. I guess I'm a good boyfriend, so can't complain, right?
Awesome. Yeah, that sounds good.
Anything on the weekend you were up to?
Oh, man. Yeah. Volunteering with the Scouts. So my son and I and a few of the other leaders camped outside. So we were up in Camp Wildman out in Tiny at a Scout camp. Yeah, it's kind of fun.
Beautiful. So for the listeners who are listening, Guy is a client of ours, and we've been working together for almost a full calendar year already. So we do have a bit of a history and some relationship. So you'll notice there'll be a little bit more of some camaraderie, where sometimes we have guests on the show we've never had an opportunity to meet before. So I already know the answer to this question, but why don't you tell our listeners, tell us a little bit about your business.
All right. Yeah. So again, it's Guy, the real estate guy, and I have my own just a little boutique style team, and we're at Keller Williams. I focus on residential real estate in the county of Simcoe, a little bit outside of that, but really within about an hour's drive of Barrie, Ontario, which is our home base. And I like helping first-time buyers and people who are moving up from their first home to the bigger home, and then doing things in reverse as well. Families. It's really generally about families and helping them make the most out of their real estate journey. So whether it's getting in or, getting out and downsizing or something like that. So that's in a nutshell, residential real estate is what we do.
So, real estate is kind of like a popular thing. Like people know, generally speaking, how it kind of works. And, most people have used it other than the first time home buyer, but they probably, been around their parents who have gone through the process. So when you say boutique, what does that mean for somebody who might not know what that means?
Yeah, well, I think the term team can intimidate some people, and it's really just small. I'm not at a boutique brokerage. We're a larger brokerage and growing, but we're not a team of 30, 40, 50 agents where a client can potentially get lost in the shuffle. It's important to me, and I look back at, like you said, we all have real estate experiences. In 2011, actually the team I started my real estate career with, they helped me purchase our first home before they even started a team. Oh. And I remember that experience and the one-on-one questions being answered, that my hand being held through the process. And that was just a really positive experience. And that's the type of experience I feel everyone deserves and should get. And that's what we want to be able to provide. So we keeping things small with a lot of the skill and the tools, resources, and external team members like our service providers that still offer the big team experience, but individual relationship. So it's the relationship that really makes the transaction less than a transaction, more about a part of their life.
Very nice. Yeah, I was going to ask you, I was going to go off the board with a question and say, what makes the difference there? But you kind of answered that. It's not getting lost in the shuffle. It's more about getting that personalized service that's kind of detailed to you, a kind of a customization type of thing.
Yeah, that's right. Something came up just recently. First time buyers, actually my next door neighbor's daughter's getting married. They bought a house. It's really exciting. And, some people like just a closing gift. How do you personalize that? Oh, here's a card, here's a gift card or something. But, right. They're doing a ton of work. So what's important for them? This is like Home Depot stuff or, tools and things that actually make their home ownership journey a little bit easier or less expensive. So yeah, personalizing. That's perfect.
No, 100%. Beautiful. Well, I'm sure I'm going to be interested in this. I know a little bit about it, but your journey into getting into real estate, what does that look like? How and why did you get into being in real estate?
Yeah, I struggle with this question because my initial answer is kind of by accident. I was asked, as I mentioned, to join a team, but not in a real estate role. It was to assist with websites and social media, which was a small business that I was running. And when I was coming, at that time, sorry, they did like an interview style process. They did a personality style interview, and the results of that kind of look at, okay, where would you enjoy the most, where would you excel the most if you were to work in the real estate industry, and sitting in front of a computer was not actually where I excel. And but where I excel is with those relationships, and so that assessment said, a buyer's agent, if you're going to work in real estate, working with buyers and sellers, the roles that require the relationship building, that's where you would excel the most. And so, I did 3 months of of website help, and the rest really was just all focused on helping families and individuals. And that was almost 10 years ago, and it was absolutely the best decision I really ever made in my working life.
And why would that be?
Uh well, like just the memories of what we've helped, yeah, what we've been part of. We've been blessed really to be part of so many people's journeys, and some of them were not necessarily happy, right? People don't buy and sell for happy reasons all the time, death, divorce, lots of different things.
Right.
um, but being there and meeting them where they're at and helping them through the process, as well as celebrating the really exciting ones like buying your first house. So I just love being a part of that. And we have friends and people we hang out with still, who were clients first, right? So that, I would say, is one really rewarding piece. And to be honest, I probably wouldn't be who I am now. I wouldn't be as happy, I'm sure, if I was sitting in front of a computer for the last 10 years.
Yep. Yeah, no, very nice. I can definitely attest to kind of like that personalized experience. When I got my house in 2019, I actually I lost it. They were smokers in the house, so I went. This was right as the kind of pinnacle start of what everyone really experienced in COVID, with the housing prices starting to get out of whack and the bidding wars getting absolutely crazy, and so being kind of right at that start, I went, 10 grand below list because, it smelled like cigar throughout the entire house. You could see nicotine in the corners. Like,
Oh, yeah.
It took 3 days to dry the shellac primer. Good thing I got it in the month of July because, we could open up the windows, but still, even with the windows open, that's how thick they had to put the paint on. It was crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
And I lost it. And it was because my real estate agent was kind of on the ball, and she ended up, she was in communication with the other realtor, asking questions, found out that, the answers that were coming back were shady's not the right word, but they were weird, and we found out, she caught wind that the financing was shaky. So she said, hey, resubmit. So I went 10 grand over list and ended up dropping one of my other conditions. And then lo and behold, it happened. And then I scored and I got the house. Well, my front door is pink. So most people know I've got an affinity for pink flamingos. It looks like a red. That's actually pink. And so, it was a sign for me. Front door, back door, everything's rocking and rolling. I'm a corner lot.
Wow.
Ended
That's
up working
great.
out.
Yeah. Yeah. And that, you look at that and where you are now in, wealth creation is another really interesting piece of what real estate can do. And you look at where you are financially, your personal net worth, and you're a young guy, Sean, you haven't got, children of your own yet that I'm aware of, or you're aware of.
I inherited a 17-year-old daughter, but other than that, not of my own
No,
yet.
yes. Yeah, that's right. But what having a home in a stable location to live in, no one's ever going to say, hey, we want to move in and you're going to be evicted. Like, you have control of your housing. And that's important. And also what that will mean for you in the future is also very important. You keep paying that down. You could potentially leverage it and purchase other ones. Like there's so much you can do. And the net worth of homeowners is significantly greater than those who aren't. And, I love helping be a part of that for families and helping them recognize the benefits and realize the benefits of their home ownership.
100%. I'd be curious to gather your thoughts on, because, the way that the housing market went, it really pushed other people that were in line to get into the market. Unfortunately, they're not able to. And it's just like a sad thing to see,
It is. One of the biggest, most challenging comments, I suppose, or concerns is, and I have two kids, 9 and 11. How are my children ever going to be able to afford a home? Or how are our grandkids ever going to afford a home? It's not an uncommon question, and it's not unjustified, because when rates are extremely low, which they were, especially because of COVID, they went down significantly. Prices start going up, right? But then when rates go up and then prices start adjusting or going down, in relation to that, you still have higher rates and maybe lower prices, but it's all about that monthly affordability and the financing. And, you've got young professional couples who are both earning 60, 70, potentially they're earning 150K as a family or a unit, and they qualify for $400,000-$500,000 maybe. And the average price of a townhouse in Barrie, is hovering closer to $6.
Right.
Yeah. And then, a condo, you might be able to get it for between $4 and $5, depending on what it is. However, the condo fee reduces what the banks will give you as well, because it is another payment, right? And so, yeah, it's tricky. The barriers to entry are solved really by the people who have those concerns and those comments. How are my kids ever going to get in a house? Well, the majority of first-time buyers had a little bit of help, down payment help and co-signing from family usually. And so I think if we think about how can I give to them or partner with them or help them get in now, that solves the issue, because in 20 years from now, they're not going to be the same price.
Right.
We know they won't.
Yeah. I just look back at history. It really dictates where you're going.
Yeah. Who knows what it'll look like, but I'm sure they won't be, $600,000 townhouses anymore.
Right. Okay. So tell us, what are some myths or misconceptions that you hear or see in the real estate world?
Lots with tenants, but I don't want to get into that too much. There's pros and cons and all that. But one that I've heard recently that I thought was kind of poignant, and we just kind of touched on it, was, well, real estate always goes up. Well, you take a long enough period of time, absolutely. Yeah. However, you just talked about, 2019, prices were starting to ramp up. Paused when COVID was announced for, half a minute, and then they went crazy. And then adjustments with rates and people throwing their hands up because why are townhouses going for $900,000 now, right? And then they went down, of course. And so what we found is, or what we've noticed is people were just wanting to ride that wave up, and they thought it would continue forever. And so they bought during the craze as an investment, thinking, I'll sell it in 6 months, a year, and make bank. Well, many of them got caught because the market shifted. Real estate is a long-term investment, I guess is what I'm getting at. It's not something where, it can be short-term. You buy it and it's on its way up and you just, cash out. But if you're planning on that, we have no idea. And as we've seen in the past 4 or 5 years, especially, you can see how volatile it can be if there are volatile things happening in the world. And so if you're going to hold it for 5 years, it's a pretty safe investment. Chances are, over history, like we said, it'll be fine. It will go up. There's no guarantees. Anybody who says, I guarantee you it will go up is lying to you, because they can't do that.
Right.
But yeah, it's a long-term investment, and to get rich quick, I think that's a misconception that I would hope people don't use real estate and plan on, I'm going to get rich quick.
You and I do a lot of networking, and we're around a lot of business owners every week, every month. I've heard this before. Thought it'd be a good question to ask. Do you find, like, just the general public have an assumption that staging is free, and some of these other things that a realtor uses to list a home and get it ready? But there seems to be, from some of the conversations that I've had, that some of this stuff is just expected by that person, that everything should just be included into the 2% or whatever the rate that the real estate agent will make on the house.
Yeah. There's a lot of services, right? And the Trust in Real Estate Act just came out December 1st, and all of the services a realtor is going to provide and is agreeing to provide, and it actually needs to be in paper now, and really should have been before. But different realtors will offer different services, and the commission, like you spoke of, there's no standard commission, there's no standard set of services, and all of that is negotiable, but it's your unique selling proposition. So there are realtors like myself who are full service realtors. We are there to coordinate with stagers, and one thing we do is we definitely pay 100% of the time for a staging consultation. Not every house needs as much staging. Sometimes they just need a little advice on furniture placement. And so there's not a huge investment necessarily. And some need, some it's like, please move out, clear the house, and then we'll stage it.
Right.
And so, as you can imagine, every house, just like every person, needs something different. And so it's a tough question to answer, because there really is truly no standard across the board. However, like with us, we have a standard set of services. So, we're going to include all of these all the time, kind of whether it's needed or not. And many of those include marketing and things, right? So yes, we're going to put it on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube, and we'll do photos and videos. And the staging, because the commission is negotiable, we have a target based on the highest level of services that are going to be there to do the best for the seller or the buyer.
Yeah.
And the seller could choose, I don't want these services. I don't want these services, or I'm not willing to pay the commission that justifies doing these, right? So always look at what's the best course of action for the seller, what is the best plan, and what is it going to, like, what do we have to invest to make that happen? And if everything lines up, then it lines up. So it's a tough one to answer, because some people choose, I don't want to stage, I don't want open houses, whatever it might be. And so we're either saving time or money on our end, and we work with the seller to make sure it feels, it's fair to them as well.
So it'd be fair to say it's like peace of mind type of thing. Use it if you need it, if you don't need it, but it's all there in case you do.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, whatever would be needed. And we have stagers who, they come in with moving trucks worth of furniture to stage. Most recently, we had one at the end of the year. It was one of the penthouse condos on Ellen Street, and it was vacant. Like we did, 2-bedroom sets, full living room, furniture, decor throughout, and bathroom decor even. And it sold very quickly and very well, because it wasn't sterile and empty and bland. It was, we actually had a painter come in. We painted that one. It was 1,800 square feet. We painted it, but it was a pristine view, pristine floor level. Of course, there's lots of space, and it needed to show that with the decor. And so it was the seller's choice whether to do it. And my job was really just to explain the benefits of doing it. And of course, they did realize the benefits when the offers came in.
Very nice. I saw on Facebook that you were out camping in a tent in the snow. Is that what you like to do for fun?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, amongst other things. So that part of the reason is I'm a light sleeper, and the other option was in the cabin with, the other leaders and a bunch of youth. And so, yeah, I'm a scout leader. My son is moving up from Cubs to Scouts. And so I'm currently heading to both of those camps as a leader. And this particular weekend just passed, there happened to still be snow on the ground. And I'm pretty proud of him. He chose to sleep in a tent. He wanted to get the credit for it.
Nice.
Yeah. So no other youth slept outside this weekend. They all gotta stay in the cabin. And yeah, so that was the other reason why I kind of had to sleep out in a tent, was to make sure he had someone to help if needed. So he had his own tent, and then there were 3 of us outside. But yeah, if I'm in a forest, I'm usually pretty happy with my dog. We're hiking, my kids hiking. In fact, a shout out to my oldest friends here in Barrie, Brandon Schmid. We are heading to the Bruce Trail on the 14th for a couple days of hiking. We're going to try to get in another 40, 50K. So
Nice.
We're starting, start to finish. That's our plan, and get it done before we're 50.
So you guys doing it in stretches? Are you guys, bringing tents on your back and roughing it, or just going?
No. We stayed at a little resort thing the first night, because we start down in St. Catharines area. And, we start at a spot, do 15, 20K. And it's always a trick maneuvering vehicles. You kind of leave a car where you're finishing, start somewhere at the back, and then hike up there. So anyway, we stayed at a little resort, stayed in in-laws, and then it's not that far. We drove from Barrie to do it. So yeah.
Very nice. I enjoy all that stuff. It was so nice at the end of the day yesterday. I went for my first run of the year. I just did a little 2.5K. My legs would only take me so far as I'm getting back into shape.
Yeah,
but absolutely glorious. I'm lucky, right? Northwest edge of the city. They got all the trails behind the Barrie landfill, so you can kind of go in there as you please.
Up off Ferndale.
Yeah, and there's no poison ivy yet. So last year I didn't get it because I didn't really go out on the trails that much, but I had it 4 years prior to.
Oh.
And I know if you just keep getting it, you'll get immunity eventually, but I don't want to go through that anymore. It sucks.
No, I got it last year spring camping with the Scouts, and I ended up having to get steroids, antibiotics, whatever you get, medication. There's 4 different pills, creams, and it was really bad.
My sister's got this cold, hot light therapy. It's blue and red. And it's designed to build up collagen in your skin. So I got it bad on the inside of my leg one time. One 30-minute treatment was 2 days worth of kind of healing, so to speak.
Wow.
For those who understand how poison ivy works. But honestly, when you get it, if you get it bad, I'd consult my sister or a skincare, therapist. So she's
interesting.
Christine Preston at Skin Discovery. But yeah, because you got all different kinds of special stuff, and then those sulfur pills. I feel you get them at Goodness Me or whatever. You pop those for 4 or 5. It takes a while to get them in your system, but that helps stop the spreading of it. And if you kind of know that you're going out, you can always pre-take them as well too, and it'll reduce the chance that you actually get it.
All these things I never knew.
Yeah, well, you get it for 4 years in a row. You start learning some stuff.
Yeah,
right?
I guess so. Yeah. Wow.
All right. Well, can you describe us maybe a hardship, a life challenge that you went through, and how you overcame that challenge, and how it maybe made you stronger, made you better for it?
Yeah. Well, I think many people, it's like, what do I want to do with my life? And yeah, I don't know. I went to college. I got into massage therapy. Like I worked in there for 4 years. I just didn't really love it. And when you don't love what you're doing, you don't give everything. Like you're just not. And I didn't feel like I was giving what people deserve. So I got out of that industry, and truly, I kind of floundered. I just did for now jobs that turned into longer jobs, and it was just none of them were career paths or business building. But I had this. I knew I could do more and do something of significance and be that person of significance, a leader in the industry. And I mean, there are leaders of the industry who are way far ahead of myself. But so, like I said, kind of half getting into real estate by accident, I look at providence and so everything happens for a reason, and so just even when I was floundering, I mentioned that the website business. I was always doing a little bit of business of some kind and networking of some kind, and because that was feeding me. That was the part that I love. It's the people
Right.
and meeting new people and getting to know people. And so even when I had a job, I was in business and I was networking, and so that even while I was struggling and trying to figure out what I wanted to do and find something I was passionate about, kept me moving. And when I found what I love, real estate and all of the intricate pieces and the fun things about taking a property and improving it and what it can be, seeing that vision for others and for ourselves and our properties. Um, that I think just that networking, that being around people and that part that feeds me,
Yeah.
uh, that I think that was the biggest challenge, was that period of time where I just didn't have direction.
Yeah, and when you're passionate about something, that's where the drive comes in because you thoroughly enjoy it. It's not, getting out of bed and saying, "Oh, like I don't like, I don't want to get out of bed." You're more jumping out of bed or excited to get up because, you're enjoying what you're doing every day.
Yeah, that's right. And there's people relying on me, like really, hey, that showing's booked. What are you going to do? Not show up, right? So
Right.
I think it's important for me to know that people rely on me and they're waiting for me, and I have an opportunity to impact them in a positive way.
Yeah, 100%. That's a real thing. We call them power partners, whether you're doing it for, workout purposes or you're building a team, you have coworkers working on a simultaneous project, collaborating on something. It always seems to, that's the way we are, I guess, being human beings and always wanting to, we won't show up for ourselves, but we'll show up for somebody else. It's funny how it works, eh?
Yeah, sometimes.
Okay. So what's one thing that you wish that listeners knew about your business?
Um, I think the whole salesperson, what stigma, I guess, if you will, and not all salespeople are created equal. And I think just I wish everyone knew my personality, and my personality is not right for everyone. However, those who get to know me know that I'm not a high pressure person. I want to get to know who you are, what's important to you, what your goals are, and put a plan together, that's going to be in your best interest. And so I kind of just wish they knew all the stories and all the positive comments past clients have had about how they feel I've taken care of them and how they've been treated. I just wish everyone knew that that's the kind of respect that they would receive when we work together.
And so, they probably would get, if they sat down for a consultation, a cup of coffee, they'd get that opportunity to do so.
Yeah, that's right. They would. Yeah, and that's perfect. And that's why I love stuff like this and networking, is because people can see you. You can joke around, and now it's all about dad jokes, but And so they don't laugh anymore. I don't get it. But yeah, they get to kind of meet me. I can answer questions, and they're like, yeah, we're thinking of moving or whatever, real estate comes up, and I'm just curious about it and about them and what that means for them. And if they feel they want to pursue a conversation, then we can do that. But it's not like I'm going to bug them every 10 minutes for the next 10 years to get an appointment.
No, 100%. Yeah. That's the same with us, right? We want to work with the people that want to work with us. And sometimes you get bad apples if you just take everything, and vice versa, right?
Yeah. And I'm very fortunate now at this stage of my career. There's a lot of our business is our past clients, their referrals, people they've introduced us to, and their friends and family. So we've built a great reputation. People have been happy with how they've been taken care of, just as a person, as well as the actual transaction, the skill of what we've done in negotiating and marketing and whatever it might be. We've done very well for people.
No, it's absolutely phenomenal. And knew that once we got the chance to get to know each other and then have an opportunity to collaborate and work together. It's been phenomenal watching you grow, and excited to help you do that as we move forward. So for those who are interested in wanting to get to know you and learning a little bit more, maybe sitting down and have a cup of coffee, maybe they have something upcoming that they know about, or they want to start that process, what's the best way that they can reach you?
They can reach me really by email or phone. So guy@guygagnon.ca. That's my email. And my phone, 705-796-1582. Call or text. And then they can visit our website, teamgagnon.ca as well, which will, some of our listings and other listings, they can use that to search. And of course, there's a contact form on there as well.
Beautiful. Wonderful. You got a dad joke for us before we finish this up?
Yeah, only because it's the only one I can remember. I'm graying a bit. So my kids are having trouble with the alphabet, and they're just see, I can't even say it right. It's on the spot. But they've only got a 25-letter alphabet, and I just can't figure out why. See, I didn't even say it right. It's like they can't figure out why. They're only using 25 letters because they can't figure out why.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. Very nice. Awesome. Well, thanks a lot for coming on the show. Happy to have you. Let you tell your story. One of the better realtors out in the city of Barrie. I could vouch for him. Thanks a lot for doing this.
Hey, thanks, Sean. I appreciate you having me, and look forward to the next one.
No worries. Talk soon.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to the Good Neighbor Podcast Midhurst. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to gnpmidhurst.com. That's gnpmidhurst.com, or call 705-413-3775.